Back another video. It's that time of year again where I make my list of the best albums of the year. Before I get to that, I'm gonna go over some of the reasons why 2025 was fucking horrendous. First of all, the orange fucktard is back in office and fucked everything up again. Hate speech and misinformation reached an all-time high on social media. Rise Against dropped the ball with their newest album. I had to cut ties with certain pieces of trailer trash on social media. Aaron's turned out to be more hateful, more psychotic than Karen's could ever hope to be. My hours at work were cut for 2 months. Corporate pigs kept shoving AI down people's throats. And the US government was shut down for over a month. Despite all the negativity, there were some positive things that happened. First of all, Ian Watkins died in prison. The founder of the Heritage Foundation bit the dust. I got more artwork of some of my characters. I surpassed 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. I deleted my LinkedIn account. We got new seasons of Beavis and Butthead, Hazbin Hotel, and South Park in the same year. Mr. Enter sort of redeemed himself by exposing I Love Kim Possible a lot, and once again called out Star Giant Productions. I sold my Funko Pops and made room for more YouTube figures. And Pussifer announced a new album coming this year. Speaking of which, we got some good music that came out in 2025. And I've compiled a list of which albums I think are the best. Studio, live, and compilation albums are eligible, as are EPs and soundtracks. Keep in mind that I can't include any albums I haven't listened to. However, I am including some that aren't available on CD that I have listened to. Keep in mind that my opinions don't reflect anyone else's opinion and are just my personal opinion. Before we get started, I'm going to go over a dishonorable mention. That just happens to be Ricochet by Rise Against. It's basically the Saint Anger of Rise Against albums. It had potential to be good, and these guys were my favorite band when I was in high school. Instead, it just completely fell flat. To quote Moist Critical, it just fumbled. Just like me doing the Try Not to Come challenge to listen to a Sleep Token song. That's the best way to describe how much of a catastrophic failure this album is. Despite this, I really hope Rise Against can bounce back after this catastrophe and go back to making political music. The experimentation didn't do this album any favors. If it was any good, then it would have made the list. Instead, it's just too dreadful for it. And I've only listened to it twice as of the making of this video. Now for the actual list. Number 26, The Lost 80s Soundtracks by Who's Who. This is a compilation of music that the Booth Brothers made for various soundtracks back in the 80s. I actually made a review of this album. There's a link in the description. Number 25, Modern Heroes by Who's Who. This is the second album that these guys released in 2025. In my review, I said that it was even better than the Lost 80s soundtracks, but not quite as good as their first two albums. Number 24, Skyscraper by Fex. Fex was revealed to have been the band that made the most mysterious song on the internet, and the mystery was finally solved in November 2024. I don't know if Fex has any new music in the works, but we'll have to wait and see. Number 23, Taylor Momsen's Pretty Reckless Christmas by The Pretty Reckless. This is the first EP that I have on the list. I honestly didn't expect this band to drop a Christmas EP, but they did a pretty good job at it. Number 22, Even in Arcadia by Sleep Token. My copy of this album actually arrived on release day. I listened to it and found it to be a slight improvement over Take Me Back to Eden, but I still feel like incorporating elements of pop and R&B hold it back compared to their earlier work. This was another issue that Take Me Back to Eden suffered. Both albums still turn out to be good overall. Number 21, the Toxic Crusaders soundtrack by Psychostick. This is the first time Psychostick composed a soundtrack, let alone a soundtrack for a video game, and they did a damn good job at it. I don't know if these guys will compose another soundtrack, but it would be cool if they did. And number 20, Let All That We Imagine Be the Light by Garbage. This is the band's 8th studio album. Although I find it to be one of the band's weaker albums, I still enjoyed it overall. Number 19, Primeval, Obsession Detachment by Talla. Just like with the last 12 studio album, the last 2 studio albums, this is a concept album that's part of the Talla anthology. Although I find it to be weaker than its predecessors, I still enjoy it overall. The album's concept is ironic, to say the least. I'll get into detail about it when I review this album. Number 18, Faith by Hawklords. It's pretty much a tradition for Hawklords to release an album annually at this point. This is also a last-minute addition to the list, and I managed to find a spot for it. Number 17, There Is No Space for Us by Hawkwind. Just like with Hawklords, it's sort of a tradition for Hawkwind to release a new album almost every year. And this band has been around since '69. Don't be surprised if they drop another album in 2026. If they do, I sure as hell am going to get it. Number 16, the 28 Years Later soundtrack by Young Fathers. This is the first movie soundtrack that's on my list. My biggest complaint is that the soundtrack isn't available on CD, so I had no choice but to put the cover in the corner of the screen. It's still a great soundtrack to one of my favorite films of 2025. Number 15, the Final Destination Bloodline soundtrack by Tim Wynn. Many people, including myself, say that Bloodlines is the best film in the franchise. And Tim Wynn absolutely killed it with the soundtrack. No pun intended. Fun fact, he was also one of the composers for the Simpsons game back in 2007. Number 14, the soundtrack for Ballerina for the World of John Wick. Of course, I just had to put this on the list since it's the soundtrack to my favorite 2025 movie. The film sure as hell is the bloodiest, most violent, and most over-the-top film in the John Wick series. And it was fucking awesome. My dad speculates that they might make a sequel to Ballerina. You know damn well I'd want to see that. Number 13, One More Time Part 2 by Blink-182. How can I not put an album from these guys on the list? They're one of the best and funniest pop-punk bands of all time. They're also a prime example of a band with a good sense of humor. Granted, this album is actually basically the deluxe version of One More Time, but I included it anyway. Number 12, A Hangover You Definitely Deserve by Bowling for Soup. This is one of only 2 live albums I included on the list. Just like Blink-182, Bowling for Soup has a great sense of humor. It is actually a double album, which makes things even better. Number 11, The Manticore Tapes by Motorhead. This is a collection of unreleased recordings that was released in order to coincide with the 50th anniversary of when the band was formed. Motorhead is my personal favorite band, so there's no reason not to include this on the list. Number 10, The End Will Show Us How by Tremonti. This is the first material from these guys since 2021. While Alter Bridge normally releases a new album every 3 years, Tremonti doesn't really seem to have a fixed schedule when releasing new music. I still found this to be a great album overall. Number 9, The Flesh-Eating Roller Skate Rides Again by Psychostick. This is basically a remaster of the band's iconic Christmas EP. the flesh-eating roller skate holiday joyride from 2007. I thought that was the greatest Christmas record until this dropped. Honestly, stores and radio stations should start playing this instead of that trash from Mariah Carey. Number 8. Shock to the System Part 2 by Daughtry. The second part of Shock to the System, as the name implies. Not only that, but I go as far as call this set even better than Part 1. I don't know what these guys will do after this, but we'll have to wait and see. Number 7. This Consequence by Killswitch Engage. This is one of 2 metalcore albums that I decided to include on the list. It may not be the best album from these guys, but I still enjoyed it nonetheless. Number 6. The Squirrely Years Revisited by Ministry. This is a collection of material from the band's first 2 albums that was re-recorded. It does retain much of the band's synth-pop sound of their early work, while also retaining their signature industrial metal sound that they're known for. Number 5. Addicted to the Violence by Scars on Broadway. This is the long-awaited 3rd album from these guys. While Darren Malakian did most of the instrumentals for the band's first 2 albums, he had an actual band together for this one. I found it to be even better than the band's first 2 albums. It was even released on Darren's 50th birthday, which is pretty interesting. Number 4. Live in the City of Diamonds by Simple Minds. As the title implies, this is a live album, and it's the only other live album that I included on the list. Simple Minds is one of those bands that I know of that have never released a bad album. This includes live albums. Keep in mind that we're talking about a band that has been making music since the late 70s. I don't know if they'll release a new studio album in 2026, but we'll have to wait and see. Number 3. I Beat Loneliness by Bush. When I reviewed this album, I said that Bush basically showed Rise Against how to make a 10th studio album, and do it right. Gavin Rossdale is 60 years young as of the making of this video, and he's still rocking. His band have been making music for over 30 years, and I'm looking forward to hearing what these guys have going forward. The runner-up is the Tron Ares soundtrack by Nine Inch Nails. Normally when Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross compose a soundtrack, they use their actual names. This time they decided to use the Nine Inch Nails moniker. I haven't seen Tron Ares, but I heard that Reznor and Ross had cameos as F-35 pilots in the movie. On a side note, Reznor is another musician who turned 60 in 2025. I thought I was going to place this as number 1, but there is one 2025 album that I think is even better. This is it. My number 1 pick for the best album of 2025 is, of course, Private Music by Deftones. There's no question. This is the greatest album of 2025. And it's the first studio album that Deftones gave us since Alms back in 2020. These guys have been making music for decades, and they still got it. Just like Bush, they showed Rise Against how to properly make a 10th studio album. On a side note, Moist Critical got to see Deftones in concert for the first time in 2025, and he too loves this band. So those are my picks for the best albums of 2025. I know that not everyone will agree with my list, but I don't give a shit. I still roasted Ricochet by Rise Against multiple times throughout the video, but the album is a flop compared to their previous work. I still really like Rise Against, but even longtime fans like myself can't help but be disappointed with Ricochet. So what's in store for 2026? Well, we do have Alter Bridge releasing their self-titled album in January, and I have it pre-ordered. Apparently, Megadeth are going to release their final studio album this year, and I might check that out. Pussifer also supposedly have a new album coming as well. I should check it out. There are also new albums by Ministry and Rob Zombie coming as well. And now, as part of my question to you, what do you think are the best albums of 2025? What albums are you looking forward to in 2026? How disappointed were you with the newest Rise Against album? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify of future videos. Thanks for watching, and album reviews will continue next time.